Hey, cheers. So we got a cup of coffee in front of us, Baltimore Coffee Company. This is the beginning. Can you hear me on there, Chris?
Loud and clear.
Do I have to lean into it, or can I just sit back? Lean into it a little bit. Yeah. Okay.
Now
cool.
you should be.
That's
okay.
good.
So starting off today, we have our guest Todd, and help me. Is it Ermi?
Yep.
Ermi.
That's exactly what it sounds.
So one of the things that caught our attention when we met last, or just randomly had the luck of being introduced, was your story. So one of the things that we talk a lot about is growth, development, and of course resiliency. So when you explained your story, your experience, it was the first thing to me that came to mind. I mean, the resiliency and the growth that you've had to experience, right? So quick, you'll do better at explaining it, but 12 years with Procter and Gamble,
Right.
A life-altering experience, and you can explain that. But just to go from that at 38 and to relearn so much, that's about the best way I can explain it. But go back a little bit, just give us a little bit of a background.
Okay. First and foremost, I'm 61, and damn proud of it. But I've had quite a life, and I've learned quite a bit through my life. And these guys were interested in hearing about the whole stroke story, but also some other interesting Christian journeys and stuff like that I'm on. And they decided, okay, well, they want to talk to me. So basically, I probably should start with I was working at Procter and Gamble. And they were offering early retirement packages for everybody. And I was living in Cincinnati at the time. And my daughter, from my first marriage, lived here. And so my wife was in HR, so she found out early. So we're like, oh, okay, so what are they giving us for packages? And they said, oh, they give you 1 month for every year that you've been here. And they max out at 12 months. I'm like, okay. So I get 12
That's really
months.
nice, by the way.
Oh, trust me. And my wife has worked there for 11 years. Yeah. So we get 11 months of salary, 12 months of salary, and the company we hired us moved us here so we don't have to pay for the move, okay? I mean, you talk about, and we were fearing people before, but we're like, well, God made it happen pretty quickly, and we sold our house in less than a weekend. Because somebody was looking at our house. We live in a nice neighborhood. It wasn't super nice, and they bought our house and they wanted us out right away. So we ended up living with our friend Suzette, our neighbor, and we ended up living with her in the basement. So we were basement dwellers for about three or 4 months, and then we moved here, and we got excited, and we decided, okay, we're going to build a house. Okay, so we lived in temporary housing for about a year once they built the house, and then we moved to Damascus, and all of a sudden Lori said, well, we got to find a church, somewhere to go to, and I was raised Catholic, and my family did a great job trying to raise us and trying to, we had what's it called, First Communion, went to, I did
CCD.
Yeah, CCD. We went to every Sunday and all that other stuff. But I wasn't necessarily happy with the Catholic Church. And in my first marriage, I became Easter and Christmas attenders, and that was about it. So we said, okay, we decided, Damascus Road Community Church, we'll have to attend it. Well, all of a sudden we started attending, and all of a sudden 9/11 happened.
Oh, man.
Okay, and I was at I was traveling out to Minneapolis. So I was traveling on that day, 9/11, from Newark Airport.
Oh,
Okay, that's the same airport.
that's a busy airport.
That they came out of. Okay, well, that was Friday, or that was Monday night. Okay. And the thing was, they almost delayed our flight, and I almost got delayed, and I was almost put on the flight in the morning.
Wow.
Okay, and obviously the one that hit here came out of Newark. And So I couldn't get a hold of anybody because that was back when cell phones were, they were microcosm of what they are today. And it was amazing because it took Lori all day, and I didn't get a hold of her until 11 o'clock at night. Wow. So, okay, yeah, I'm fine, we're fine. But she didn't know where I was because, back then, you just, traveling. No
Yeah,
big deal.
and what about did you have a daughter? You said a daughter at that
Yeah,
time?
my daughter.
And how old was she at
she was 9 years old.
9 years old at that time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so basically, we traveled back, and we moved into our house in April of 2001, and then in June 30th, I had several what's called TIAs, they're trans-ischemic attacks, and they mimic a stroke. So for about a minute, I could not communicate. I could just say blah, 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 and I thought I was saying something.
Wow.
And then I went back to normal. Lori said, that's not normal. So we went to Montgomery General Hospital about 7 o'clock at night. And they said, okay, they tested me out and tested everything out. They said, you came out normal, but it was like 11 o'clock at night. The neurologist on call said, hey, why don't you just keep him overnight, let him go in the morning, he'll probably be fine. So 5 o'clock in the morning, I threw a full-blown stroke. I couldn't talk, but I thought I was talking, okay, but I was just making no sense at all.
Wow.
So what happened was I had a serious stroke where I couldn't talk at all, and I could not move much of my right side of my body initially, okay? One thing that's good is have a stroke when you're in the hospital.
That was going to be my first question. Right.
I was right at the hospital, so they gave me the whatever the drug is that it has to act within 3 hours and stuff like that. But it didn't matter because it was 100% occluded my carotid artery, and it's the one that takes 80% of the blood flow to the brain, and you have 2 carotid arteries. Okay, and so that one was blocked, and they told my wife to get our affairs in order because they didn't know how bad it was, and they had me in the ICU. And I found all this stuff out afterwards, obviously. So they tested me, tested me out and everything, and they could not figure out what caused the stroke, and they still to this day do not know what caused it. My artery completely closed up, and it never ever opened up again. Now, if it was 95%, they'd definitely go in there and clean it out. 100%, nobody's going to touch it. And I talked to several neurologists afterwards too, and they said, no, nobody's going to touch it. Nobody's going to touch
Wow.
it. So anyway, I'm in the hospital, and I was we were attending church already, and the first person to show up was the associate pastor was the first person to be there, and Lori called them quick. First one she called was the church and said, hey, listen, here's what happened. So the associate pastor showed up. I can't remember his name, but he was just there, and he just, prayed over me and all that stuff. And I think the whole thing that happened to me was a God thing. Okay?
Oh, man, sounds like it.
And there's an interesting story that goes along with that, in that basically I was working 80 hours a week, like any person was. I'm trying to make money.
That was what you had shared with us when we first met you, and kind of triggered for me, which was, I think, a lot of men, because folks, workaholics, trying to make, make money,
money
for their
was number
family.
one.
Yeah.
Okay. And God threw me down with a stroke, and He took my best ability, which is my ability to talk, which obviously He gave it back, okay?
Yeah,
but He eventually
gave it back. You're a great speaker.
Right. But it's just amazing because, I could look at that what happened to me, and I can look at it and say, okay, damn, I had a stroke, and, it's just so frustrating. But the only thing that I actually could say was, I'm okay, but I wasn't okay. I couldn't talk, okay? So
Wow.
My daughter, God bless her, Lexi, she taught me. She was going to be a teacher at this point. She was 9 years old. So it was during the summer, and she was off. So she taught me how to read with 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade books, and she corrected me, and she'd give me a little star even if I didn't do as well as I should, and all that stuff. But
it should be like the other way around, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No. But I tell you what, she showed me so much of herself during that moment. And I just thank her so much for that. But it's just amazing how God works in your life, and He gave me the ability to talk again, and the ability to recover, and so that's kind of the story I want to share with everybody. Is I volunteered for Montgomery County Stroke Association about 10 years, and also I volunteer at the church, volunteered in children's ministry for a lot of times, and I volunteered, other places as well, Frederick Rescue Mission and stuff like that. But it's just, it was a tremendous opportunity for me to give back to people why I'm still alive. And I say, I got to give God credit, and yeah.
I think the one thing that intrigued me was that when you had also mentioned something that you had financial resources that helped you through that, like you found something that the company had been able to pay you for. Remember when you were saying that? I thought that was remarkable for a company to still be able to do that for you.
Obviously, I worked for. I was working for a company called Luminos. I was working there for a few months, and then I had my stroke.
Yeah.
But I signed up. Everybody gets offered short-term disability and long-term disability.
Right.
And the long-term kicked in, and basically it pays me. I think it's 2/3 of your salary.
Right.
For the rest of your life. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
But the thing about the whole thing about God and family and friends and stuff like that, I used to think money was number one. Okay, money. God said, okay, let's strike you down. I don't want you to say anything. I want you to listen to what other people have to say, and I want you to realize what's really important in life. And God is number one, family is number two, and friends are number three. Money isn't even on the list.
Yeah,
but
that's great.
I do financially okay.
Well, yeah. I mean that.
But
that's what intrigued me, though. Is like maybe also too what I'm kind of thinking in my mind is like maybe you didn't even realize that you were doing that, but maybe He was.
Saying, God
you know what I mean?
Over.
Yeah.
I've always been a God.
Yeah.
But God, is important.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize He is the reason I'm alive.
Absolutely.
So and like you said, rather than talking, it took. He put you in a position to listen.
Oh, that absolutely. And I said, yeah, God, I know you got a sense of humor, don't you?
So how did that...
But He gave my voice back.
Yeah.
So, and you said it based on the priorities, but how did it evolve your definition of success? How did it help you? What did it do for your definition of success?
Oh.
So,
Go
work, provide, and like we are talking about often is when is enough enough.
Right.
But what did it do for your definition internally of what success is?
It's really a good question. What it really it didn't force me to do it, just like, okay, gonna have to listen. But I finally realized how many blessings I have in my life, and I don't even realize that I have all these blessings. My daughter, my wife, my friends, my family. I have so many blessings in my life, and I have to be thankful to God because I do have so many blessings. So that's kind of how my shift kind of initially came on. And the second thing was, and I did a lot of volunteering, talking with people who had strokes. Okay, and I can tell right away within the first 5 minutes whether they're positive or negative.
That's
and if
a
they're
good
negative,
point.
I said, listen, you got to get out of the negative stinking thinking because it's not going to do you any good because you're going to get up, you're going to be negative, and you say, okay, I had a stroke. What am I going to do? And I said, write one thing down that you did today that you didn't do yesterday. At the end of the week, you got a week's worth of stuff. At the end of the month, you got a month worth of stuff. And it's just a simple way to really actually kind of track your progress as you're going along and realize, oh, wow, after a month, you're like, wow, okay. Because what I tell a lot of people is it really going to matter a year from now?
Yeah.
Okay? What you're so upset about, is it really going to matter in a year? And most things are like, no. Then why worry about it? That's just my philosophy.
and that is something we talk about that I think I know I don't do enough, which is
I don't do it enough either.
Focus on the little wins, right?
Right.
So daily, those little wins. And you'll see, I keep looking here because I have a lot of questions written down, but you said this, but I want to hear it again. So who believed in you before you believed in yourself?
Yep.
While you were recovering, while you were getting through this.
Right. God was with me the whole way. And the thing is, obviously, I had doubts initially after my stroke because it's like, okay, I can't talk, okay? But this is something both you guys should hear, is they can understand everything you're saying to them, okay? And I don't think you realize it, because there was one person who wasn't very nice to me that was a nurse at the hospital, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But he thought I was stupid, okay? And I could understand everything he's saying, but he figures, okay, he can't talk, nothing's going on. Anybody who had a stroke, they can communicate, but they can't get it out to communicate it to you, and you got to realize that. And that's probably one of the main reasons that I got into volunteering so much, because people don't realize what people actually have and what's going on with them and what really is going on. And it's, everybody judges things initially with, okay, they communicate. And I had several people after the stroke would think, okay, this guy can't talk, he can't communicate. I'm like, no, I had a lot of stuff going on in my head. I just couldn't get it out because I couldn't find the words, because I had word finding deficits and stuff like that. And I still have word finding deficits, but I learned to talk around it and finally figure out what I'm trying to say.
He gave it back to you.
Yep.
Yeah. I have one question while we're on the subject of giving back and talking through, God kind of giving you, you're his vessel, right? You're talking, he's talking through you. So you're, for the audience, because we don't have anything visual, is you're wearing a Bills jersey or shirt. And I have some dear friends who are Bills fans, and I don't know what's wrong with the water up in New York, but it's pretty darn good. So if you had like an audience of like 25 10-year-olds who are playing football right now, like what would you say to them, like if you had them as an audience, like and what you believe and what you grew up with and what you think should be shared with them now these days? Well,
first and foremost, and I'm a big believer in that winning and losing is not about winning and losing, it's about how hard you try and how hard you gonna just go out there, do your best, and if you win, great. If you lose, that's okay. I would tell them God's with you the whole time. The whole time, God's with you, and just trust yourself. I figure I'm talking to 10-year-olds. They're going to be like, they have no confidence. So I'm like, listen, I was 10 years old once. Yeah. I had no confidence either. But you know what? You have the confidence, and God is with you, behind you, and with you, in front of you, and you can do anything. And if you fail, but at least you tried your best. You tried your best. You know what I'd say.
Yeah, I love it. Okay.
I'll take it away from sports.
Yeah.
I'm wearing my Buffalo Bills stuff.
So
you notice that.
So a question I had, which is very much, it's similar, but what our focus, very focused around the next generation or the younger generation, right?
What age group are you talking about?
Well, anything, a young man, no, someone 8, 10, 12, 16, 20.
Yeah.
Our focus is mentoring, helping them where they as we grew up, we had the opportunity to be mentored by people in some fashion or another, whether it was each other or other male figures. And what it sounds like these days is that's lacking in a lot of cases. So if a young man's feeling lost right now, what's the first step you tell him to take?
What's the what?
First step you would tell him to take. So
I would tell them to that they can do it, that they can do anything that is possible. But you got to take the effort. You have to go forward, even though it's uncomfortable to go forward. And a lot of people, especially at this age, feel that they can't go forward. But you can do anything. You can do it 5 times and fail, and then the 6th time you're successful at it. But I would just say have a positive attitude towards it, first of all, not a negative. Get rid of all those thoughts. And you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. And there's nothing more grateful than to watch somebody do it and fail 10 times, and the 11th time they did it, and you're like, all right, I told you can do it. But you got to fail, and it's okay to fail. People don't realize that. It's okay to fail, because Einstein failed a million times, okay, and he still was one of the smartest people ever in the world. So it's kind of like the people who are successful are the people who fail a lot. I'm just wondering if that's. But they take the risk. That's what they do.
So my next question for you was, what's a risk you took that changed everything for you?
What is the risk I took that changed everything for me? I would have to say that really truly believing in God to the extent that I belong to non-denominational and belonged to it for 25 years. It's Damascus Road Community Church. I recently changed churches just because I'm living in Frederick now instead of Damascus. And so I'm going to FCF now currently. And what changed for me was I had God on my side, and I really truly started getting the gospel, started getting the stuff that really makes a difference in life. I got it before, but I got it on a surface level. Now I get it in depth, and every time I go, it seems like the preacher is talking to me directly. It's weird, but I've been gifted to have so many good speakers that these people just like the gospel that was targeted to me, right? That was me. So that's basically it was really believing in God and just knowing God's got me from back and front. That would be it.
Yeah, my thing for that is, I think a lot of the times myself and maybe many others is I'm at that surface level right now,
right.
But there are people like you and others who give me signs, and then I'm like, oh, I'm inspired, and then I'm like, how do I share this with my boys?
Whatever the non-threatening.
Yeah, and a non, so I realize that it's sometimes it's just like leading by example.
Yeah.
Right. And saying, okay, I'm going to go to church on Sunday, and if my boys go with me, they don't. But how do you do that offline, like when you're not at church? How are you, helping someone else or sharing and leading by example with that?
Yeah. A couple of questions popped into my head as I was listening to you talk. And really probably the one thing that really sticks in my mind is I believe in God, and God was the Almighty and the maker of heaven and earth, and He died on the cross for our sins and all that stuff. But I don't care who you believe it is, somebody's got to be responsible for this mess that we're living in right now, okay? So I don't care what you call it. If you believe in a higher power, I'm with those people, and I get you, and I say, okay, let me hear your side of the story and why you believe this or why you believe that. But I'm very open, okay? I'm not closed book, and it's just, I've always been that way, and I always will be that way, because if they get it, at least they got it to a level that they got it. I mean, you got it big time. I couldn't believe I was talking to you. I'm like, okay, you really did get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you're on your spiritual journey, or you're here. I'm probably here. I want to get that way down. No, I'm here, and I got to get way up here. But I'm going to learn every single day. I'm going to learn something new about myself, and that's okay, because I'm not going to be stuck wherever I was, because all I'm trying to do is be like God. Okay, that's all I'm trying to do. So God is a person who lives a sinless life, and I want to lead a sinless life, but I can't. I make mistakes all the time, and you know what? I ask God for forgiveness. He forgives me, and I move on. And because God is not about your mistakes, He's about your successes.
What's a habit you had to unlearn in order to grow?
Habit I had to unlearn in order to grow. Well, obviously I talk a lot about negative stinking thinking. I was negative. I didn't have confidence in myself when I was in my 20s, even though I showed I had confidence, and I got hired to work for Procter & Gamble by beating out about 180 other people who interviewed for the job.
Bravo.
Pardon?
I said bravo.
Oh, I know, but I showed that I had confidence, but behind the scenes I did not have the confidence that I thought I had, and it took me a while. And my wife, my second wife, I was married to her for 24 years, 25 years. She helped me a lot in teaching me Myers-Briggs, which is a way to understand people. And I came out, I'm an ENFP. I don't know if you guys...
You still remember that, huh?
Oh, yeah.
ENFP.
Well, basically,
nice.
There's 16 different personalities, and everyone can be successful if you recognize your strengths, but you also got to recognize your weaknesses, and you got to be willing to take feedback on it. And I didn't take feedback on my weaknesses very well initially, okay? But Lori worked with me, and I got better at it. So, anyways, it's
this is your second wife, you said?
Yeah, my second wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
We need to put that in the notes there. Like, is there a link these days where you can go and do that for free? you know?
Yeah.
Which do what?
The Myers-Briggs. You know?
I was.
Well,
joking.
there's a bunch of different personality types out there.
I haven't taken that in a while,
I would
though.
inspire anybody, if they want to do something for themselves, can do it all online now for free.
Yeah.
Just figure it out, but find out, okay, this is what I am, and this is, because you self-select. It's not something that says, okay, you're this. You take an indicator, and you figure out, okay, this is what they say you are. Now we're going to go through all the different personalities, and you figure out which one feels right to you. And so it's about a 4-hour session that we usually do with people when we do them in groups. But it's just a thing. Okay, so which type do you feel comfortable with? And some people, everybody gravitates towards a couple, and they're all, I'm an introvert, and they're like, no, you're not. You're an extrovert. Well, what do you mean? I said, okay. Do you get you get energized with a group of people, or do you get energized by being by yourself? And they said, oh, group of people. You're
That's
an extrovert.
interesting.
Okay, even though you don't think you're an extrovert,
Yeah,
because you don't have the confidence to think you're an extrovert. So anyways.
That's a good point, yeah.
Are you conducting those now?
No.
No.
I wish I was, but I collect Social Security, and I also obviously collect the pension that we mentioned before as well.
Yeah.
I have to go through a course of a week-long course to get certified to do Myers-Briggs, but I know that the Myers-Briggs type indicator has all these different courses out there that people can get in touch with people who can do that. I mean, it's Myers-Briggs is one. There's a bunch of other types as well.
Yeah, there's Working Genius. There's
what is it called? I can't remember now.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the other. I know we do Myers-Briggs. We do Working Genius. I can't remember the.
Oh,
others.
you do?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I can come in and help out. I'm serious. You want me to help out?
We're on a journey, so we're going to branch off from here, but this is nothing but air and opportunity, so it's
right.
something to consider.
Well, I'm partial to Myers-Briggs because that's what taught me, but all of them are out there are very good. Anything you do to learn other things about other people and realize, oh, this is why they're that way. They can't help it. They just their tendency is to be right all the time. Yeah. And I'm okay with those people because I understand why. Okay, there's typical ESTJs. Okay, they're always right. And and I always come at it, okay.
That's real. I'm gonna have to do that with the people that I work with. But and I have one question, Chris, before I jump into the next one. This is one that I think Chris and I would really, more specifically for me too, but Chris may agree with me. Is so you were married twice.
Yes.
Okay. And
hold on, I was married a third time too.
A third time. Okay. So I want to double click on this because my mom, my parents were divorced, right, and one of the big Christian values that I have is marriage is sacred.
Yeah, right.
So when you had your first marriage and second, what was it that triggered for you to be okay, this isn't working?
What triggered for me? Yeah. Why I had to leave?
Yeah.
Okay. My first marriage, we both fell in love with each other. She was 16, I was 18. We went out. I was a senior. She was a sophomore, and we went out for the year, and then we continued to go out on again, off again a little bit, but we mostly were going out. And finally, when she went to Grove City College, and I went to St. Bonaventure College, and Grove City is a very conservative, good school that both Lexi went to, her mom went to, and her stepsister went to as well. So it's a good school, and it's great that they went there. And so what are they going to do? Oh, so basically what happened was we fell out of love, okay? And both of us realized it, but it was kind of like, I fell in love with my high school sweetheart. We got married. We spent 10 years together, and the most wonderful thing that came out of that is Lexi, okay?
Yeah.
And the thing was, Lexi was 2 or 3 at the time that I was thinking about, well, maybe it's not going to work out and stuff like that. So, so I decided, okay, we went to marriage counseling and all that stuff, and finally, it came out that we got divorced. And so I met Lori after that, and she was just, so anyway, so I was married for 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I got married to Lori for 25 years, or 24
Wow.
years, okay. So once I make a commitment, I do stay committed.
Yeah.
But I realize sometimes there's a season for a reason, and sometimes the season ends, and it's unfortunate, but it did. And the one reason that I really wanted to find a new church was the Catholic church said, hey, you can attend as long as you get an annulment. I said, well,
Yeah.
I said, what's an annulment? Oh, that cost you $5,000 at the time. I don't know what it costs now.
5,000.
Right. I'm like, oh, so if I get an annulment, I can take the communion again. Okay, sounds like a way to make money, but and I'm sorry, all you Catholics out there. I understand, but
no, it's all good.
Are you still Catholic?
Yeah, I'm still
Okay.
Catholic, but it's all good.
So anyway,
Yeah.
those are what happened. And the last one,
The Archdiocese of Baltimore is in bankruptcy, so maybe that's...
well, and the last one, I was married for 6 months, and I realized that I'm married to what's called a toxic narcissist. I don't know if anybody knows about toxic narcissism,
Man.
but
I'm learning about it now.
well, I'll talk offline, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, there's 2 things you can do. You can stay there and take it, or you can run as fast and quickly as possible away. I ran as fast and quickly as possible away because I've been married 2 times. I know what it takes to get out of a marriage. I know what the process is. I could have stayed, but I'd be dead. Either she'd kill me, or I'd die of a heart attack, or stroke.
Wow.
And I've already had a stroke, so I know what that's like. So anyway, so that's why.
That's great. No, because I think there's, and this is what Chris and I have talked about. You know, is that when I did find the right person, you know, that it was later in life for me. It wasn't like right away, and because
how late?
I was about 29.
Oh,
yeah.
So you've sowed your oats and all this.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And Chris and I have, learned a lot about each other, growing up, and we had a great time growing up. But yeah, you just kind of realize, and I think for young men these days, it's like, hey, take your time.
Right.
You know, there's no rush. You know?
Definitely.
Yeah.
No rush in
Right.
getting married.
Exactly.
Something that I told my son recently. So my son's in a relationship. He's 17.
Ah, okay.
My
other daughter's 18.
So he's been with this young lady for 2 years now.
Uh-oh. And is he a senior now?
Yeah. So he's going into 12th grade. And so we were talking about it the other day, and I said something that I want you to keep in mind. He was like, how did you and Mom do it? So we just, not do it, but so Christy and I are just about to hit 20 years in a couple weeks.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And so he was like, how do you do it? And I said something that I heard someone say one day, and I think about this all the time. Other than communication, huge part of it is falling in love over and over and over again. And the interesting thing about that is, as you grow and develop, what happens is oftentimes people fall in love with that person. But as you grow and develop together, falling in love with that newer, you're constantly falling in love over again, because as people develop and evolve and grow, you're falling in love with the new version of one another. So I told him, I said, just, you guys.
I don't know how you do it, but that's how you do it.
Well, communication.
Trust me, you've been married 20 years, you've been through ups and downs big time.
Yeah.
As you.
Yeah, no, for me and for my wife, we really just said we have to know that to be open about what is on our mind, what weighs on us. And
you got to be open.
Yeah,
it has to be
very
totally
open.
honest.
Yeah, and unfortunately, my wife lost her dad a long time ago, and so she went through therapy, and at one point I said during COVID, I said, man, maybe I should go to therapy. So that was probably one of the biggest things for me, to open up and say what's really bothering me and digging deep.
It takes a lot of.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of. You're afraid to go there because you're not sure of the response you're going to get.
Yeah.
But if they truly, truly love you, you'll get the response that you're looking for.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Exactly.
Took me 3 marriages to figure that out. But
no, but I mean, hey, that's how you learn. Like you said, grow.
Right.
Jeez.
But that's right. I mean, just every day I'm learning something new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any thoughts, Chris? Feel like deep.
Dario tells me all the time that I should go to therapy, and I tell him that this is my therapy. So
Nope. You should go to therapy. I'm a strong believer in therapy. I went to marriage counseling with all 3 of my wives, okay? And both, and it's really good, but I also went to individual counseling.
Yeah.
And I realized it took, I started going to counseling once my first marriage started hitting the fifth, the fritz or whatever, and I've been going ever since. You know, like I go for a while, and then finally I say, okay, well, I think we're done with therapy. Okay, cool. Well, you know, you can call me if you have anything comes up, but then I go again. And you know, right now I've been in therapy for pretty much 5 years now. Okay. And then, you know, I go once a month or something like that now. But, you know, at the time when I needed it, like initially with my third wife, I'm like, okay, I went every week because I needed to get it out. And she's like, you're married to a toxic narcissist. Get out. There's only 2 solutions you could take. And I don't want you to die because I like you.
Heck yeah. Couldn't agree with you more.
So anyways.
Yeah. No, it's tremendous support. But I think the other thing that I realized is, and Chris and I have talked about this, and you know, raising my boys, something deep down inside of me was stuck there.
Yeah.
You know, and I want them to be able to be open and say, hey, you know, this is bothering me. And it's okay, right? Because sometimes they hold it inside. And so for probably about 20 years, I realized that the male figure in my life was really never there.
Really?
Yeah, and the only one that was there was my grandfather. And this therapist was able to extrapolate that and get it out. And I was like, oh my gosh. And when she did, it was like, it released so much pressure.
Right. Well, and you're leading by example. You go to therapy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you talk to your kids about it, right?
Absolutely.
And you just say, hey, you got to be open. Yeah. This is me. Yeah. You seem like a pretty open guy. Yeah. You're open with your kids as well, and you got to be that way. And they see what's happening with you, and they see the little steps you're making and stuff like that. They don't say anything about it, but they do see it, and you lead by example, and that's all you can do. And hopefully they'll end up okay. Yeah. They might end up on drugs, but.
So what about the kids? What about the young men who don't have that?
Yeah.
Who are doing it on their own?
Yeah.
Good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, great question. I wish I could answer it exactly like it should be, but but basically, I want to tell you that you guys, you have. I want to say the world by the balls, but
say it,
you don't
man.
really.
Yeah.
Right, but you don't
it's a
realize.
Free country.
You don't realize the opportunities that are in front of you that are just there. And obviously, I'll turn to God and say, okay, God has all these opportunities that He presents you with, and it's a matter of do you want to go there or not. And I would stress to you people, go there, go for it. You might fail, but at least you went for it. If you fail, what do you have to lose? You just failed.
Yeah.
Try another one.
Yeah.
Try that.
What about people who aren't religious, or what about the people who are pushed more towards
I would tell them the exact
staying
same thing.
away from it?
I would say the exact same thing, but I would just say, hey, you have all these opportunities that are presented to yourself, okay? And I'm just looking at the world as the potential opportunities. That's how I'm wired. I'm an ENFP. I'm internally positive thinker, okay? And, you know, I'm sorry I'm that way because I am.
Don't apologize. It's fine.
But, you know, so all the, you know, I married an ISTJ, my first marriage, okay? We were polar opposites. I thought that was exactly what I needed. Okay, but anyways, that's another sideline. Yeah. But yeah, I would tell them the same thing. I'd say you have these opportunities, go for it, and just take the risk, go for it, and just really you gotta, because all of a sudden you realize, okay, the worst thing that happened was I didn't win or whatever. Nothing. It's no big deal.
Yeah. So
that's it. I tell them the same thing.
And I think mindset. It's that positive mindset, and it's not being afraid to fail. I tell my son all the time, fail forward, right? I mean, he's so hard on himself, and he's so worried about doing something wrong. And I keep saying, you make mistakes and you learn. If you don't ever make a mistake, you're not perfect. You got to make mistakes to learn. So I think what I take from that is mindset, that positive mindset, always driving forward, always finding the positive in everything, looking for opportunities. You hear it all the time. When you're looking for positive and opportunities, they multiply. When you're thinking negative and you're looking right, then that's where you end up gravitating towards.
Yeah, I mean, you know, as we think about it, the reason I saw you guys over, I'm like, what are you guys doing? What are you doing? You know, but all of a sudden I met you two.
Yeah.
interesting story. But it was just, I meet one person, they talk to another person, he talks to another person. Maybe you share my story with them, or you share somebody else's stories. But you talk to people. That's probably the one thing that I got to get people to realize is we were meant to be in a community. We weren't meant to be isolated. And with frickin' nowadays, other kids have so many games, all that other crap that takes them away from. When I was a kid,
community.
We hung out. Basically, so we got up in the morning, went outside, played. When the bell rang or when the lights went down, or the street lights went on, we went in. It was like, but that was us back then. But we didn't have any video games. We didn't even have the Pong.
You were struggling. You had to go outside. I only have two more questions for you. Like to kind of wrap it up for me, because you've done a great job. Is one, what were you thinking when you saw us over there to ask and not build up the courage? You already have that, but like you were like, I want to know what's going on. What prompted that? And then
being curious.
Yeah, being curious, because it's opportunity, right?
I'm looking around here now. I'm like, anything interesting happening in it?
Right.
Just, but I go up and I talk to people.
Yeah.
Most of the people will say, hey, this is what I'm doing, or that.
Yeah.
Some people say, get out of my face.
Right.
You know what? I don't care. Because I've
yeah.
gotten to the point where I don't give a fuck. Okay.
There you go.
But
right.
we're trying to build confidence in these kids.
Right.
And that's,
there you go.
And you gotta, tone it down and not use those words and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you gotta really just tell them, what's the worst thing that happened? Oh, they can say, well, go away. I'm like, okay. So, I have one person out of 100 actually do that.
Yeah.
But
and so many people are closed off and they don't talk. They'll go in someplace and they won't talk.
Okay, I'll give you an example. This morning, okay, I moved into a new apartment, okay? So I was, I'll call her a woman, but she was like 21 or 22, okay? So, but she had a dog. And I said, oh, nice dog. She said, oh, yeah. I said, oh, I just moved in here. How long have you lived here? She said, oh, I moved in December. Okay, so I'm like, oh, I'm brand new. And I'm like, where did I park my car? Because I moved in, because it's not like you have assigned seats, okay? Yeah. So I'm like, what? And she goes, yeah, I do that every morning too. I said, oh, what interesting. I said, how long? So anyways, I was talking to her, and I found out that she lived in Cincinnati, Ohio, okay? And I lived in Cincinnati, Ohio, obviously with Procter & Gamble.
Yeah.
I told her, I worked for a small company called Procter & Gamble. She goes, yes, I know Procter. But it was it was an interesting conversation where I'll see her again. We'll say, hey, because she used to live in Cincinnati. But and she'll talk to her friends, say, hey, I had an interesting conversation. Or maybe she won't. But that's how you build your network.
You started your day off right.
It takes time, and it takes being willing to go out there and actually talk to people.
I'll say this. So that day when you talked to us, it helped me come up with an idea that I want to promote or help people maybe come out and talk more. So my thought was, he and I come here every Friday, and we sit here every Friday,
right.
and we do this. So my thought going forward is to just put a third mic here, empty. And if someone comes up like you did and says, hey, what are you guys doing? What is that? What's this for? Sit down. Have a conversation with us.
Oh, yeah.
But you inspired that in me.
And all I'm looking is help other people be inspired and to get them to say, okay, I can talk more and more. You guys really get it, okay? And there are people who get it and people who don't get it. And I don't know exactly what to say is get it is, but you guys are out there and you are continually learning and continually growing and continually, every day is a new day.
Yeah.
And you can be positive or negative on the day. And every day I get up, I say, thank you, Lord, I woke up today, because I thank God every day that I wake up. Okay? And guess what? Someday I'm not going to wake up. That's okay, because I'm going to heaven.
So I do have one more thing, I guess, and then Chris, I don't know how we're doing on time, but so you have Lexi is?
Yeah, Lexi's my oldest daughter.
Is your oldest daughter?
Oh, can I say one thing about Lexi?
Yeah, please.
Okay, well, I will anyways, because I'm kind of
you're a proud dad.
So anyways, she blessed me with 3 grandsons.
Oh, okay. Nice. Okay.
And she lives in Fairfax, about an hour and 15 minutes away.
Uh-huh.
And there's nothing I could take more pride in than her 3 grandsons.
3 grandsons, yeah.
And she has another one on the way.
Oh,
She's
my
due,
heavens.
September 30th, and it's a girl.
Wow. Godly.
So I get to see him
Congratulations.
every week. Sometimes I get to see him twice a week. But she has blessed me with so many. I just look at things and say, God, I am so blessed. But you got to step back, step out of your situation, and say, okay, I really am blessed. Then you get involved in your situation. Okay, all this crap going on, all this other crap. But it's like step back. Take it in, take a deep breath, take 5 deep breaths or whatever, and just, wow, I am blessed.
Yeah. So that's Lexi, right?
Yeah, that's my oldest son.
So that's 4 grandchildren,
Not,
right?
Well,
about to be 4,
yeah.
right? God willing. And 1 granddaughter, right? And what about your other daughter?
She's 18. She went to St. John's Catholic Prep.
Okay.
She had a great education at St. John's.
Yep.
She got into RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology.
Yeah.
She leaves next Friday.
Wow.
To go to college.
Congratulations. Yeah.
She is so excited. And she's unbelievable. She's studying civil engineering.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a sales guy.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do any of that involves stuff and all that other stuff. But her goal is to be design rights for Disney.
Holy smokes.
That's her ultimate goal, and she's going to meet it.
Look at that smile.
But I raised 2 daughters, and I think they ended up halfway decent.
So,
but I didn't have any control over it. I just tried to lead by example and try to just,
Yeah. Well, I have. This is definitely my last question. I say.
Oh, you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. I swear. I promise. If you weren't here with us tomorrow, what would you want your grandchildren and your daughters to know?
What do I want? What?
What do you want them to know? What would be what would you say to them right now in this moment that you want?
I'd tell them, that they don't realize what a blessing they are on me, and what a blessing I get from being able to provide them different opportunities to grow and just to be all that they can be. And I constantly try to positively encourage them and stuff like that. And it's just, we had a conversation a couple days ago. We were thinking of things we can do in the future, and we were on their back porch. We said, you know what we should do? We should camp out. And so Jack was thinking, he said, I got a couple ideas on that. And then he starts sharing with me the ideas. And I was like, wow. I said, well, we're not going to share this with your mom, okay? Because right now Mom doesn't need to know, because her mom's a little... Now
Mom knows.
I know. But we talked about it after.
Yeah.
But I said, don't, so we talked about it. And it was just me and Jack and Declan were just hanging out. And then he's like, I got an idea. And then Declan's like, I got an idea too. But I'm just like, but that was so heartwarming for me to see the kids get excited. And we might do it more now. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. But it was the fact that it's just, that's what I'm trying to do.
And they'll remember that. You know what I mean? They'll remember that.
Yeah.
So current volunteering, I just want to make sure, is there anything you're doing right now just for everyone to know? Is there any volunteering you're doing right now?
I'm sorry, what?
Volunteer work?
Yeah.
Right, currently?
Yeah, I mean, actually, well, there's 2 things I would want to mention. One is I just finished volunteering for Charlie is a Korean World War II veteran, and we did at the Anchor Bar, we did a 11 to 4 pretty much help Charlie out, because he needs $7,500 worth of fixings for his house, and he lives in a house. And so I went to different businesses and stuff like that, and said, hey, can you help us out? And stuff. And I said,
so a fundraiser.
Yeah, it's just a fundraiser.
Yeah.
And they were so successful, and it was just a great thing that they did. And I got to thank Mike McCarthy and all the people involved in there, and that he gave up his establishment to have this party. Not party, but have this get together
fundraiser. Yeah.
And the other thing is working on a golf tournament for Donnie Jacobs. He's a Glade Valley owner, not owner, but he takes care of all the pretty much. He runs it, and the owner owns it. But he's having having a get together, and Jim Kelly's kid was diagnosed with, and I can't remember what it was, but he was supposed to live till he was about maybe 3 or 4. He lived to be 14.
Wow.
So they got 14 years, okay. But whatever he has, this other person has the same thing as Jim Kelly's son has. So they're having a fundraiser for them, and their golf tournament is August 29th, which is my birthday, I just might add.
Are you talking about Jim Kelly, like the quarterback?
Yes, Jim Kelly.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Well, Jim Kelly actually had, 2 years ago, he gave all this stuff for us to raffle off and everything.
Wow.
But so anyway, so the tournament is then, and if you want to find out more about it, well, yeah.
And where's it being held again?
Glade Valley Country Club.
Gotcha.
Well, not Country Club, Glade Valley Golf.
Yep.
Yeah. Great course. I got to put my plug-ins for that one too.
Love it. Absolutely.
But I don't know when you're going to have to.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Anything you have for us? Any last thoughts? Any last words you want to leave us with?
keep doing what you're doing. You are doing such a great thing. Just follow whatever comes into your head, think it through, but don't be afraid to try it, because you had an idea when we talked together. Just go for it.
Yep.
Go for it. That's
I thank you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you very
You're an
much.
amazing
It's
man.
been great talking with you, and I hope we keep crossing paths for sure.
I think we might maybe.
Yeah, that's why I love this community.
You come here every Friday.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, buddy.
Thank you.